Let's look at project 7, the PowerPoint presentation. For this project, you will be creating or completing a 5-minute oral presentation using about 7 to 10 slides. You can use really whatever video screen capture software you are familiar with. Just ask that it is playable for your classmates and within Canvas. And I also ask that it's playable with one click. So it should be able to just really hit the play button and go from there. If you do use PowerPoint and you record it within PowerPoint, at the very least, do it so when we download the file, open it up and click Start Presentation, that we'll be able to have the audio automatically start and have it go through the entire presentation without having to continue to click to go to the next slide and then to listen to the audio there. So I do ask for your diligence with that, as it makes it a lot easier and it's a lot more professional when it's accessible that way. Ideally, you should be thinking of the presentation as basically an introduction or teaser to the full report. So you basically have 5 minutes to convince your intended audience to at least look more closely at your proposal. I won't go far as to say that you're going to convince them within the presentation to accept it, but your goal should be to intrigue the audience and give them some motivation to want to go in and read your actual report. So you have 5 minutes to do that. It's important that you stay close to the 5 minutes. I'm allowing a 45 seconds buffer on either side of that, but when you go beyond that, there will be some great implications. So the further you get away from that, the more problematic that is. It's a really useful professional skill to keep within your allotted time and be able to put together a compelling message within a short amount of time and within the time allotted to you for whatever your rhetorical goal. Please do utilize the basic presentation structure as is outlined in the description here, with the introduction to the recommendation report, the problems that motivated that, the criteria which the report's recommendations will be or were based, basically a sense of how you went about evaluating this solution and what you ended up concluding about it. So this will be helpful to the audience, and do include your references that you've used. In terms of structure, just basic presentation skills using PowerPoint skills are necessary here. Some helpful things, or I should say some things that are not effective. Sometimes it's helpful to think of the things that you shouldn't do. So here are some of them. One is slides with tons of language. So don't put a ton of language on the slides. It becomes overwhelming for the audience. So use limited language and use effective visuals. Related to that first one, don't read directly from the slides. This just doesn't come off well. Also, don't read directly from your essay, as oral language is very different than written language. In addition, your essay will your essay will be much more in depth than the presentation. So you'll need to if you are going to write some sort of script, you'll need to write it with an oral presentation in mind and with the visuals and the slides in mind as well. So it's a different type of communication. Related to that, I'm going to strongly suggest that you do prepare for your final recording. Even though you're not going to be in front of an audience, I would still suggest that you prepare in a similar way. And it's always pretty clear when a student has spent a lot of time preparing and when a student has not. So take the time to go through, work through the structure of this and to run through the presentation, sometimes multiple times before your final recording so that it's smooth and effective.